Let's go to Andre from Harlem. What's up, Andre?
Yo, what's up, Clay?
Hey,
Good
what's up?
show as
Thank
usual.
you.
Hello
Thank you.
to your guests.
Yes.
Yo, I think Democrats. I consider myself. I don't like to put labels but more like a progressive liberal. And I don't like to put labels on it. But even I, as a progressive liberal, though, the Democrats' communication and some of the shit that Democrats don't speak up on is this stupid. And for example, I mean, the Herschel Walker thing, y'all can call him stupid. Y'all can say all that, but money is leading in Georgia. You got and football carries a lot of weight, not just with those whites, but with a lot of black people. Calling him stupid and ignorant, which he is. He's a Tom. He's all that. That brother, I would not be surprised if that Tom wins because football, him being a beloved football player back in the day, carries a lot of weight, particularly with a lot of Southern blacks. So I think Democrats have to really look at.
But
He's
Andre,
not
you know
going to
what
win by the
confuses?
black. He's not going to win by the black vote. I was rocking with you until you brought up black people. He's not going to win by black voters in Georgia. He's going to win by white voters, and you're right. He's going to win by rural voters, and he's going to win by some proximities closer to Atlanta, in large part because of his football history. And I would argue that that's very similar to what we see in Alabama, where they elected a senator who doesn't even know the branches of government that actually exist because he was an SEC football coach in Alabama. Yes, SEC country is a very strong. It's a very strong thing across the South in general. But I would argue that what we're seeing with among black voters in all the polls, black voters do not celebrate or participating in the watershed moment that is what is happening with Herschel Walker. That is white people aligning around a candidate that has been thrust to the forefront by Donald Trump and has been getting a lot of money based on the same voters and the same groups that actually propelled Donald Trump in 2020 and allotted for him to get the largest proportion of Republican votes that the nation has ever seen in terms of a Republican candidate in this past election cycle as well. So I think that, football obviously plays a large part in this, but we would be remiss to say that the Trump aura and what he's been able to do there doesn't also play a large part.
And also, I would add too that I get the whole football angle, but I think even if he were just a D-list actor that had some random roots in Georgia, I think he would have this kind of success. I get the football angle. I understand that. But I would assume being a preacher of MLK's church is more sellable than being a football star. So I sometimes think folks are overstating the football angle. It's
I think,
just
honestly,
finding a black person
that campaign
who
has
will
to get it together. That campaign has to get together in the same way that Hillary Clinton needed to get it together, in the sense that they cannot keep ignoring the fact that Herschel Walker is a formidable candidate, not because he's smart, not because he should actually be there, but because of the fundraising, because of the fact that Republicans in Georgia they've been able to coalesce around this ideology, and they will show up and show out. And I think that Democrats have to really understand that this ain't 2020 and Donald Trump isn't on the ballot. And to get your people out is going to take a lot more than just assuming that because Herschel Walker is a shitty candidate, people aren't going to show up for him.
Well, Senator Warnock has receipts, though. He has receipts. He's done some great work as being senator of Georgia, but receipts don't always matter. And I hear him talk about it all the time. Go ahead, Keith.
He has to not only have receipts on his own record, but he also has to take down Herschel Walker. People need to know about Herschel Walker. They need to know the fact that he doesn't live in Georgia. They need to know the fact that he has no government experience. They need to know the fact, well, it's obvious that he's dodging debates even among Republicans. They need to know the fact that his ex-wife accused him of pointing a gun at him. They need to know the fact that he has a whole checkered history of lying about his past. He lied about graduating from college, which he didn't. He lied about being a valedictorian from high school, which he wasn't. The guy has no credibility about anything. His only qualification for being a senator from Georgia is that Donald Trump recommended him, and that's enough for some people. But the point that I want to make about what Amisha said is that she's right, because this is not 2020. If it were 2020 or any other presidential election year, Herschel Walker wouldn't have a chance in Georgia, because black voters would turn out and make sure that he would lose, because they have another black candidate, Raphael Warnock, who is a current U.S. senator. But because it's an off-year election, midterm election, and black voters and others don't vote as frequently in those elections, there's a good chance he may win. And that's the danger. And that's the reason why we have to be vigilant and being participants in every single election, not just in the big presidential elections, the marquee elections. And also on another point, just kind of to put this in there as well, After watching that Trump judge in Florida, I want to remind people there are a lot of people who were saying in 2016 it doesn't matter who wins the presidency, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, because they're all the same. Well, it was Donald Trump who appointed 226 federal judges, including that judge in Florida who issued that mask mandate decision. And those judges are going to be there, like that judge in Florida who's only 35 years old, are going to be there for decades, striking down whatever progressive legislation you believe in. If you want student loan reform or cancellation, they're going to cut that down. If you want universal health care, they're going to take that away. If you want marijuana legalization, they're going to take that away. Every single thing that you believe in might think you believe in as progressive. Donald Trump's conservative justices on the Supreme Court and judges in the federal bench will strike that down because too many people weren't paying attention in 2016 when we were trying to tell you that this is a critically important election. Every election counts. Every single election. We have to be in the game every time, just like the Republicans and conservatives are, because if we don't, we lose.
Go ahead, Andre.
I mean, yeah, y'all made some good points. I'm not saying, that, look, Republicans are fucking hypocrites. They don't give a fuck, excuse my language, They don't give a fuck about whether Herschel Walker, abused his ex-wife. They don't give a fuck about that. They voted for they vote for pedophiles. They don't, it's all about what the Republicans believe in power, and us taking this moral ground and shit like that, it doesn't work. We need to come, Warnock refuses to go after this dude, He doesn't want to say, this how this brother just went in on him. Warnock should be doing that for his base. He should be, because you're not going to get their base, but you should be doing that to your base. Go to your base and say, this dude is trying to come for me, and this dude is an idiot. We so soft, and this is what the fuck is going on. Democrats are soft. That's what it is, And then, they talking about, even as a Democrat, if you say some shit like, I'm for this rights, but I don't believe in children making a decision before they become an adult and some shit like that, then it gets blown out of proportion. And then the Democrats get on the defense. We got to stand for some shit, We got to stand for some shit. We got to, like at that brother in Louisiana with the, I forgot, I don't know the brother, I forgot his name.
Gary Chambers.
That's the type of shit that I'm talking about. And Warnock, I understand Warnock is a better candidate. This guy, Herschel Walker, is a done. And I know, that he can't get the majority of the black vote, but I guarantee you that dude is going to get like 5 to 8% of black male vote. I guarantee you that in Georgia. Because
Andre, we got other calls, brother. I hear you. My only thing, I agree. Reverend Warnock has to be out there. He's going to be on my show soon. I hear you. My only thing is to everything that Amisha and Keith y'all said about how despicable Herschel Walker is. They don't care. I've seen people. I've seen the news. I've CNN's covered it. I've seen it. His name trends on social media at least once a week. The truth is, they didn't care about grabbing by the pussy, and they don't care about putting a gun to your ex-wife or whatever it is head. They don't care that his
3 other women who he has dated or liaised with in the past who have also come forward. He's starting to look a whole lot Trumpy. That may be why he's so to endorse him on sexual harassment, on beating them up, on being abusive. There's a lot of there, but you're right. The Republican base and the people who are his voters don't care.
How do you combat that though when they don't care?
The goal isn't to Republican voters; it's to get the Democratic base out. Because as
the Democratic base, sure,
Democrats do not come out in midterms. Black people largely do not.
But wait, but let me ask you, Amisha. Let me ask you. Traditionally, Black voter turnout is under 50% during midterms. That's egregious. Democratic voter turnout hovers a little bit above 50% during midterms. So regardless of the candidate, we don't come out.
That's
so true. What can he possibly say to change the trajectory of history? I don't know what Warnock could say or do. If MLK came back from the dead, it probably wouldn't work. How can we change it?
Make this the decision-making factor of a lifetime. And I say that just because we saw the votes in the Senate and how it broke down to, make some of the most some of the strongest decisions of our time. We know that this is a very valid process, not only in terms of selecting and ensuring that we have Supreme Court justices who benefit the progressive side of the fence, but also to get the president's policies passed, to get the policies that individuals who went out and voted for President Biden, to get those policies across the field. You are going to have Democrats in the Senate. You're going to have that. Right now, that 50-50 Senate, with the margins we do have, it's been extremely tough. Lose that 50-50 and you're done. So I think that there has to be something that's put in place that makes them understand just how imperative this one race is, what the actual costs are should Warnock not have that positioning, what that would actually look like for the future of America, not just Georgia, but for everyone. I think that has to be the context of this conversation, because you're right. Just elevating everything that is wrong about his opponent isn't necessarily going to change the voters' minds who are Republican. They're going to still come out and vote for him. They love to vote for pedophiles and other problematic individuals, rapists and the like. That's not going to move them. What will move Democrats is what he should be concerned with. And right now, statistically, we've seen this time and time again, not just in this race, but in every midterm election. Minorities, particularly Black people, do not show up as fervently in those elections. There has to be something that moves them forward. If you care about police reform, if you care about education spending, if you care
Voting
about
rights,
ensuring that our civil rights are
Senate
upheld,
majority.
rights, you need to be there.
Like, I just go ahead, Keith.
The one thing that may work to Raphael Warnock's benefit is Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams is very popular. She ran for governor 4 years ago, barely lost in the controversial election. She's running again. Her name, I think, on the ballot will draw a lot of people to the ballot who wouldn't otherwise be voting. And that may be enough to get them over, but we'll see.
I think it's a uphill battle. I think that a midterm election, I think it's very difficult. And I want to see them do more, but it's all about that turnout, and people just don't take it serious. So we're on these airways. People are tired of donating. They're tired of hearing it's the most important election of your lifetime. People are just tired. And it's
to me, Keith and Clay, and to Keith's point a moment ago, is that I have not, because in other states, when you have such an imperative election, you will see more of a coordinated effort. Because I agree with Keith 100%. Having Stacey Abrams be on the ballot this go round, somebody who is a star in the Democratic Party, not just in the state of Georgia, being there is huge in and of itself. Not seeing these two campaigns do a coordinated effort to increase turnout is a very interesting and telling thing.
We'll see. Georgia, if you're out there, Georgia on my mind.